something that ICE has historically done. Certainly something we did a lot of in the Obama administration. And what you're doing there is you're looking at the criminal justice system. And you're looking for individuals who escaped ICE's grasp when they were in jail or prison. And what you look often what you're doing is you're looking at probation records, court records, and you're trying to match those people up. So those are the targeted list of people who've been caught in the criminal justice system. And then they kind of blast out those targeted lists nationwide. They have operational plans, and they'll go, bang on doors through the cities doing this. Now, I think, look, in doing it, right now, they're trying to send a message, obviously, right, to make it look like this mass deportation thing is going on day one. But again, this is not something necessarily new that ICE has done. It's just more going to be a concentrated effort, I really think, in order to kind of send that political message.
And you noted what was going on during the Obama administration, in which more people were deported during that than the Trump administration. What is the difference between what the Biden administration has been doing and what's about to happen now? Why, as you mentioned, this has been done before. Is it just surging the resources? Is that why they'll be able to do more of this?
Yeah, well, ICE was doing this during the Biden administration as well, but just not putting as much fanfare around it, right? These kind of operations consistently happen because, look, ICE has been very good, and I think one of the misnomers that's been going on is this idea that there's a large number of criminal migrants, immigrants who've committed crimes who are escaping ICE. The biggest game changer here is the situation at the border. And when we were inundated with all those asylum claims, that ties up ICE's hands. ICE has to take those people into custody. They fill up ICE detention beds. They tie up the hands of ICE prosecutors. And they tie up the hands of ICE officers. And so really, since over the last 4 years, more than anything, the biggest restriction on ICE hasn't been Biden policies, but the crisis at the border.
I want to play a clip from the incoming border czar, Tom Homan, where he's kind of describing what they're planning to do. And then I do want to get your reaction. Let's just listen to that.
We're going to be big right all across the country. Chicago is just one of many places. And we got 24 field officers across the country. On Tuesday, you're going to expect ICE. ICE is finally going to go out and do their job. We're going to take the handcuffs off ICE and let them go arrest criminal aliens.
And do you think there have been kind of these, proverbial handcuffs around ICE? Do you think that's a fair kind of description of the situation?
No, listen, during the Biden administration, there were policies put in place that restricted ICE from making out, deprioritized certain individuals. But what we're talking about here are individuals who are charged with typically crimes that have no nexus to public safety, right? So people charged with driving offenses, traffic offenses. Those are the populations that basically the Biden administration said, ICE didn't say don't take them. Said we don't want you to focus on that population. We want you to focus on people
good morning,
who
everyone.
Committed violent felonies or pose an active threat to public safety. And so, look, and when we're talking about, too, the numbers here are very marginal at best. Right?
Amen.
If you look at the Obama administration, as you noted earlier, it did have we had more deportations, certainly than the Trump administration. But we had these same types of rules in place where we said, hey, if somebody's been in this country a long time, they have U.S. citizen children, and let's say they get caught for driving without a license because they couldn't get a driver's license because they were undocumented, we're not going to treat that person as a high priority just because they had to brush with the criminal justice system. Instead, what I want ICE officers putting
sausage.
on that transnational gang member who's out there on the street committing violent crimes, who's hard to find.
Breakfast.
But instead of burning our resources going to get that traffic offender, let's go get that tough guy, right, and get him off the streets, even though it takes more time. So I think, again, when Tom says that we're taking the handcuffs off, what he's really saying is, they're reducing these policies, but that doesn't mean they're promoting public safety.
Hungarian sausage.
Quite frankly, oftentimes it's the opposite because you just start burning the resources on these lower level
breakfast
offenders.
for today.
And I know you and I talked before, and this really stuck with me, how you kind of described it. I'm paraphrasing here, but you were saying essentially, it's about quantity versus quality in terms of the arrest and the deportation. That you can arrest and deport a lot of kind of lower level people like you're talking about, and that does get your numbers up and it makes a splash. But in order to get some of these transnational gang members that really do need to get out of this country and are a true threat to public safety, that takes time, it takes effort, it takes resources, but it may not go as quickly as some of these others. Do you think that they can?
That's it, guys.
Can we do that all at the same time, or does one give because of the other?
It's already
No, look, I gotta tell you, the quantity almost always comes at the cost
8
of quality
in the morning.
Immigration enforcement. Look, the populations you just heard referenced from Mr. Miller in his interview that we listened to a moment ago, where he said 1.3 million people have been ordered deported, but didn't leave the country
Alas
for
8 na, alas
reasons.
8.
And look, I'll tell you why they didn't leave the country. They were not detained as they went through deportation proceedings, and then ICE oftentimes gave them a stay of removal. Why? Because they had no nexus to public safety.
Breakfast
they had no criminal
time.
history. Oftentimes they had a very long-term presence in the United States, and just get to understand, 75 to 80% of the 12 million people who are in this country have now been here more than 10 years. During those years, they married citizens, they had U.S. citizen children, they go to our churches, they have jobs in our communities, their kids go to our schools. And ICE, when oftentimes, believe it or not, will say, hey, we're going to give you a stay of removal. We've ordered you deported, but we're sympathetic to your situation. We're going to let you stay here. And I think what concerns me is that as you talk about mass deportations, they want to focus on that population because they already have the court order in place. The biggest problem in the immigration system, those backlogs in the courts. But by grabbing that population, that is the low-hanging fruit of the immigration system. Those are the individuals who pose no threat to public safety, been here the longest time and stayed here and were allowed to stay here usually for a reason. And I think that's where we're going to see this disconnect between this rhetoric about public safety and the reality when these plans go into force.
And just logistically too, how do you feel that ICE and its officers are going to be in terms of capability of doing all of this? Do they have essentially the resources to logistically carry this out?
Not at current, right? Not the numbers that the Trump administration has been talking about, right? There's this misnomer that somehow during the Biden administration, they had ICE officers sitting at home instead of going out and doing their jobs. You're not going to see ICE make any more, or certainly not very many more arrests, given these kind of changes or these executive orders. Now, as additional resources come online, Jessica, that'll change, right? ICE's capacity will increase.
Kain tayo,
The number of
kain.
officers will likely
Breakfast.
But, look, that's going to be years down the line. I mean, I think that's one thing that even if Congress appropriated the money tomorrow, you
Breakfast,
still have to go out
guys.
there and find agents, background check them,
Gatas.
train them, get them out in the field. That's going to take years, right? But in the short term, again, I
morning,
do worry
everyone.
that the temptation, in order to make it look like there's immediate action, is to
Ang
really
Asia,
target
yeah,
that
parehas ang
low-hanging
oras tanan, no?
fruit system,
Basta
which is
Asia.
the population that is the
Sembra og oras.
most distant nexus to public safety. I mean, really, it's the population that's the most sympathetic and the least likely to be committing crimes.
All right, more to come on this as we inch closer to Monday. John Sandwich, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Still ahead.
Good morning,
Is this the
everyone.
last day of TikTok in the U.S.? What could happen at the stroke of midnight and how the incoming Trump administration might
Hala.
give the app a lifeline? Here in the CNN Newsroom.
I'm Richard Quest. I love traveling the world. Broaden the mind
Yeah, it's Mel.
and the heart.
Good morning.
Done yet.
Good morning, guys.
Time to embrace new adventures. We're going to be
It's milk.
assaulted by sounds, visions,
Because I'm not allowed to drink coffee.
symbolize anything.
Okay na ko English na.
Seize the moments in this world of wonder.
I'm not allowed.
On CNN, in association with Turkish Airlines.
Good morning. Hello, Elsa.
This is rare. I've been an arts coach for something like 20 years. To be alone with a painting
Stefan.
like this, a girl with a pearl earring, it's extraordinary.
Orang
She's
mana.
not alone.
Si Orang mana. Orang mana.
Museum has pulled
Mana
off an astonishing artistic coup. The greatest vermeer show of this or any other lifetime.
Mana
28 of the 34, the 37 attributed
Yeah,
works.
it's Orang mana.
Vermeer himself would never have seen so many
Yeah,
good paintings altogether.
Orang
in one
manaat.
place.
Time for breakfast.
It's very exciting. They kind of had this dream of having all the paintings together. Obviously,
Hello, everyone. Good morning.
37 paintings by Vermeer, but having 28 here is just something we never thought possible.
Hello. 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 Good morning. Milk, good morning. Yeah. Milk for morning. Milk for morning. I'm not allowed to drink coffee because it's not good for my health. Makan apakak. Yeah, makan apakak. What language is this? Indonesia? Malaysia?
Malaysia, Indonesia.
Makan apakak.
Murang apa? Bakit kumakain ka?
Why I'm eating? Because it's breakfast. Sure ba?
Apa? Kasi apa? Apa, parang, ano? What? Apa is what?
Indonesia dahil Indonesia.
Kasi ginakaunin mo na ganun. Kasi ang ginakaunin mo.
It's sausage and scrambled egg.
Translator na yun.
My translator beside me.
I did a lot of research.
Indonesian pala. Okay. I don't speak Indonesian and I don't understand Indonesian also.
She's a lone wolf. That's my perspective, right? Case like this would have been very personal for someone like Cardi. Catching this bad guy wasn't just about
Milk is delicious.
So those were some of the moments of vulnerability that we were able to layer into.
I drink milk in the morning.
Recruiting,
I only drink
fundraising.
milk once a day.
6, large-scale domestic terror attacks.
Every morning
All new inside
every
Africa.
morning only.
See a continent in transformation as trailblazers evolve culture, technology, and industry.
Lagi
Across
apa?
Africa and beyond.
Yeah.
Witness the healing
Lagi
power of
apa?
healing for both Tanzania's
Lagi
communities
apa?
and ecosystems.
Apa?
Okay, ano?
Inside
Okay.
Africa on
Lagi
CNN,
apa?
in association with Zenith Bank.
Apa naman?
Parang ang sayang. Ha?
Ano lagi magod o
And breaking, President-elect Donald Trump has arrived in Washington. We're about 48 hours away from his inauguration on Monday. You see him there arriving at Dulles Airport with his wife Melania, his son Barron. We also
Oh my God!
his daughter Ivanka
Nag-Indonesia na talaga sila.
on the plane with him. Again,
I don't understand na talaga.
what will be inauguration festivities as he takes office for a second time. And when he takes office, one eye will open at the border.
Oh my God, it's so maingay. Hello!
At midnight, America's ban on the popular video sharing app.
What does it mean? Artinya lagi makan. Artinya lagi makan.
Unless the U.S. government explicitly says Apple and Google won't face
Aba.
fines if they keep posting the app. Meantime, the Biden White House calling TikTok's actions a stunt, says it's leaving this decision to the incoming Trump White House. President-elect Trump says he most likely will try to delay the
My
ban for 90
translator
days
is
once
going
he's
far
sworn
away.
on Monday. CNN's chief media analyst Brian Stelter is joining us now. Brian, I think a lot, hundreds of millions of Americans, let's say, are very curious if TikTok will actually go dark at midnight.
Orang mana kiki? What does it mean? I don't understand.
Technology. This is a one-of-a-kind situation, and no one actually knows for sure what's going to happen after midnight.
Yeah.
Here's why I say that.
Orang.
We know that TikTok
Anong
is known
orang?
that it will have to go
Orang
dark.
mana?
It's not going to turn off the lights by itself. If the app starts to become unavailable in the overnight hours, it will be because service providers like Apple and Google, as you mentioned, believe they can't carry the app anymore. We've reached out to those companies, asked for comment, we have not heard back.
I'm from
My sense from
Philippines.
TikTok
I'm not from
is that they
Thailand.
believe these service providers are fearing the new law, they're fearing the ban, and they will start to use the app
From
as a result.
Philippines.
The Biden administration has signaled that it's not going to enforce the law on Sunday because
I'm
this is
from
essentially Trump's
Philippines.
problem now. But even though the
Ang
Biden
saya.
administration has sent that signal, maybe some of these service providers
You
might
you
still
from
begin
Thailand? Ano? I'm not
to
from
take the app
Thailand.
down. Now, does that affect users
I'm
who
from
already have the app?
Philippines.
That's unclear. Simply put, we don't know exactly what's going to happen tomorrow, but it's likely there will be some change in TikTok's availability. But even if it does change tomorrow, it might come back on Monday.
Yeah, it's we just don't know. That's exactly it. We also know that
I'm from
TikTok's
Philippines.
CEO is expected to make
Philippines.
inauguration. So is China's
Huh?
vice president. We also
Ako
have
ah?
Elena Trine's new reporting that Trump has
Dili.
privately expressed interest in visiting China
Ako
while
orang
he's
nong.
president. It does make you start to wonder what
I'm
this
from Philippines,
relationship is going to
guys.
be like. I
I'm not
have his senior
from
advisor
Thailand.
in the 5 o'clock hour, Jason Miller. He said,
Philippines.
listen, this isn't about being buddy-buddy with them, but this is about opening a dialogue. But in terms of the TikTok of it all and the relationship with China,
Hi, hi
it's
from
interesting to track
Indonesia.
all these
Hello,
different points.
guys.
This scenario sets up Trump
Hello
for
from
a victory on his
Indonesia.
very first day in office. A victory that he can turn around and say, I am saving TikTok.
Hello, guys. What
I
time
am
is
making
there
sure it
now?
stays online."
Indonesia.
With the caveat, at least for a few months while he seeks out a deal. And so he has that ability.
Indonesia, Miguel Love, shout out.
Have some doubts about whether he has that
Hello.
capability. He has signaled that he's going to try to use that capability, make sure TikTok stays online, and on day one, he's going to have this very big talker of a news story. I've been talking with Wall Street analysts about this, asking what do they think is going to happen.
Hello, guys. Let's eat
TikTok has
breakfast.
implications for the wider tech industry. Rich Greenfield at Lightshed Partners, he said to me, look, this is going to give Trump a major victory, and it's another loss for Biden.
Now, my translator is not here now already.
Another prominent analyst said this. He said, this is all a game of poker, he said, and TikTok is a chip on the table when it comes to U.S.-China negotiations. That's certainly how the incoming president seems to perceive TikTok. He seems to perceive this as a negotiating opportunity with China.
It's so interesting. I also want to ask you about
Hello,
the
Miguel Love,
alternatives,
shout
because some
out
TikTok users are
from
flocking to
Indonesia.
other Chinese apps that and they're encountering Chinese censorship for the first time. I found it so interesting in talking with the content creator right after I talked to you in the 4 o'clock hour, who said among her peers on TikTok, literally no one's talking about national security or the threats or all these things that these officials are very worried about.
What's that? What's
The voices
What's
that are
that?
calling TikTok a digital spy balloon,
I don't
the Republican
understand.
lawmakers who passed this ban 9 months ago, their voices are pretty muted right now. The loudest voices are the influencers and business people that are going to be affected by the ban. At the same time, as you said, people are downloading alternative apps, including Chinese-owned apps. There's this incredible cultural exchange underway. Some people even trying to learn Mandarin, some Americans wanting to speak with their neighbors in China. At the same time, people are also coming up against the Chinese firewall, internet restrictions. There's a lot that people are learning right now.
No, I'm not Christine. I'm Joy.
The American internet. The bottom line is there's no perfect TikTok.
I'm
phone
Joyce.
out there, but there's lots of alternatives.
My name is
and people are
Joyce.
flocking to those apps right now. I'm really curious to see a year from now who are the winners and who are the losers.
Yeah, me too. All right, Brian Stelter, as always, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
My name is Joyce. Nice to meet you guys.
Israel and Hamas is set to take effect now in just hours. We're going to take you inside the Israeli hospital preparing for the hostages' arrival. You're in the CNN newsroom.
Nice to meet you all. Nice to meet you.
I'm the
Welcome to the live. Oh, I see you're from
in charge of the
Kyoto,
moving from the UK to the track.
Indonesia also, right?
On a weekly basis. So when we arrived
Hello.
on the track, the hospitality building behind you.
Hello from Indonesia.
Same as the garage is an empty shell with a painted floor. The F8, the C8 turns off and then it transforms into what you can see.
It's amazing, really, the detail that goes into the modern day Formula One car. These mechanics, you know, they're well versed in what they've
Welcome
been
to
doing
the
for
live.
years, and only they really know how to put those.
Makan apa? My God, I don't understand.
To get those cars ready.
I'm having breakfast.
What do we all have in common? On average, we work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and 1,920 hours per year. It's the rhythm of our lives.
I have
because
corn,
1/3 of it is spent working.
Hungarian sausage, and scrambled
Will
egg
technology replace our roles?
for
Or make
breakfast.
it easier? Will a moment of gratitude make it all worth it? Will our talents move us across the globe? The answers lie ahead at the Global Labor Market Conference.
What does it mean to be out front? It's going there.
We are just about 3 miles from the Gaza border.
It's context.
My translator is not around.
Be out front to it. Let's go out front.
Aaron Burnett out front.
That's it, guys.
What excites me the most is being able to do what I love and being able to inspire others.
Zimbabweans, Mozambicans, people from Swaziland, people from Tanzania. If you
Hello from Indonesia. Thank you for the live. Thank you for visiting the live.
Africa avant-garde, tonight on CNN.
The inauguration of Donald Trump, Monday on CNN.
Kamu makan apa? What does it mean? Yeah, Ronaldo and Messi is good for soccer. Tara yaw. Are you fan of them? Are you fan of them? Navy?
When you travel the world, make sure the world travels with you.
I'm not fan of them. I just know them.
Check in, log on, and get
But I'm not a fan of soccer.
all of the latest developments at your fingertips. CNN Partner Hotels, connected to your world.
It's a European marketplace that's constantly evolving.
We're all in this together.
From the energy sector. Wow, look at that. Very cool.
Yeah. It really feels like that's
Oh my god, I'm already full.
This is the next generation of computing.
Wow. And the latest in luxury.
What we're doing is world class.
Are you more drawn to the classics? I'm a classic girl.
Yeah, I'm from Philippines, guys.
Sebastian, join us for Marketplace Europe.
Today on CNN.
I'm Jane Asha, and this is CNN.
By this time tomorrow, if all goes according to the plan, Israel and Hamas will be in a ceasefire, and 3 Israeli hostages, now held by Hamas for 469 days, will be safe. It's a breakthrough that has taken many months of negotiations, and it's not without opposition. A number of far-right Israeli ministers plan to resign if this deal goes through.
Hello from
While Prime
Indonesia.
Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has praised the deal as recently as today, he's also been careful to qualify his support. He demanded a final list of hostages to be freed, which is yet to be released at this hour. He also said Israel reserves the right to return to war if necessary, and that it would do so with American support. The incoming Trump administration already getting involved. A source telling CNN Mike Waltz, Trump's incoming national security advisor, met with the families of American hostages today held in Gaza today. And Waltz told those families the return of all hostages is a top priority for the Trump administration, and also committed to making sure that happens, saying the president-elect is committed to all phases of that ceasefire and hostage agreement. CNN's Bianca Goldriga visited an Israeli hospital preparing for the arrival of hostages. Let's take a look inside.
As Israelis anxiously await the release of hostages, 6 hospitals have spent the past several months preparing for this moment.
We had some large exercise where we were simulating the arrival of hostages.
The Tel Aviv Soratsky Medical
What's
Center
laughing?
says
What's
they
up?
treated 17
What's
of the
funny?
105
I don't understand you
hostages
guys.
during the last ceasefire hostage deal in November 2023.
There is a lot of data suggesting that they may all be suffering from severe malnutrition, and this requires a very specific program.
On hand will be
Hindi ko kayo
emergency
naintindihan,
doctors,
ha?
nurses, and psychological support staff. Hospital officials are also
I'm going to translate
prioritizing privacy for returning
I'm going to
hostages and their
translate.
families.
You learned to give them their own privacy.
There was not enough privacy
Yeah,
when the last hostages were released.
yeah.
And what was the consequence of that?
Well, a huge pain.
What was a dermatology unit has been transformed to a private returnee floor. The first among the hostages to be released are female civilians who will be treated in rooms like this one. Also expected to be released in the first phase
from Philippines,
is
oy.
20-year-old Agam Berger, along with 4 other female IDF soldiers taken captive from their military base on October 7th. Video of their capture, released by their
I just
families,
watched
show the physical violence they experienced that day.
News.
Agam's cousin speaks to the anxiety families are experiencing and preparing for.
We know what they did on October 7th. We also know from released hostages who came home what they did to hostages in captivity. That's the biggest fear. The physical aspect of it, but more importantly, the mental and emotional aspect of what kind of trauma something like that can do to a young girl who's 20 years old and has her whole life ahead of her.
65-year-old American-Israeli Keith Siegel is also expected to be released in the first phase of the deal. His brother Lee, still out rallying for the return of the hostages, is worried about Keith's health.
Our last formal sign of life for Keith was 9 months ago. Our last video clip where he appeared, 65 years old. He was not yet 65, 64, looking almost 84, very worn.
With hostages ranging in age from 2-year-old Kfir Bibas to 86-year-old Shlomo Mansour, medical staff are prepared to treat each hostage case by case. For family members, the thought of a reunion with their loved ones is almost too much to bear.
Have you thought about what you will say to Agam when you do see her face to face?
I have been doing everything to get you home. Thank you for making my dream come true, for coming home.
Bianca Rodriguez, CNN, Tel Aviv.
Come back home, baby, come
Still
back
ahead, the
home.
Panama Canal. Definitely on the radar of President-elect Trump and has been for a while. New CNN reporting on what's behind Trump's threat to reclaim the critical waterway here in the CNN Newsroom.
Explore Taiwan. Our Michelin Guide restaurants will tantalize. Indulge in a fusion of flavors, both timeless and new. Whether you're looking to shop in style, seek your fortune. Find everything you need in our famous shopping districts. Enjoy a round of badminton in our gold standard sports facilities. Or take in the unforgettable nightlife. Savor the beauty of Taiwan.
Okay.
Today we live in an unpredictable environment and news races around the world at breakneck speed.
We have seen a glaring double standard.
We desperately need you to finally conclude that we've suffered long enough. I didn't want to publish.
My show brings you the latest news and top news makers.
I know what it's like to be different in your neighborhood.
Tom Hanks, welcome.
Christian, how nice to see you.
What I'm telling you now is that we have to work 10 times harder.
Amanpour, Tuesday through Saturday on CNN.
How do we connect you with stories from around the globe? We're on the ground to follow the facts. We examine big ideas, we let diverse perspectives flow and ignite conversations that matter most to bring the world to you. Stay informed, stay connected, stay invested. From our studios in Abu Dhabi, join me for Connect the World with Becky Anderson.
Weeknights on CNN.
News happens fast and travels faster. Technology, geopolitics, global warming, money, changing the world as we know it. We'll take you to what truly
You say bye. Okay, I understand.
First Move, your best move to
all
hear
right.
from the brightest minds, innovators, influencers, and decision makers. Conversations that count from west to east.
I got it.
And back again. We're your bridge.
First Move with Julia Chatterley, Tuesday to Saturday on CNN.
I'm Richard Quest. I love traveling the world. Broaden the mind.
Bye-bye, guys.
And I'm not done yet. It's time to embrace new
Thank you.
adventures. We're going to be
No, anak, mag-bye-bye pa, oy.
sounds,
So, I mean, to Navy, di pala. To Navy.
Does it symbolize anything? It's like a dance.
Alright.
This world of wonder.
Today on CNN, in association with Turkish Airlines. All new Inside Africa. See a continent in transformation as trailblazers evolve culture, technology and industry across Africa and beyond. Witness the healing power of honey for both Tanzania's communities and ecosystems.
There is connection amongst the farming of grain and the farming of bee.
Inside Africa on CNN in association with Zenith Bank.
Tonight, a ceasefire in the Middle East. Incoming National Security Advisor Mike Waltz joins Ghana. Plus, the day before Donald Trump's inauguration, Congressman Jim Jordan and Ambassador Rahm Emanuel State of the Union. Tonight.
I'm Elaine Jokos in Dubai, and this is CNN.
Oi! 2 viewers!
In recent weeks, President-elect Donald Trump has talked about getting the Panama Canal back in U.S. hands. And during his Senate confirmation hearing this week, Trump's choice for Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, said China's influence over the canal may have violated an agreement over who should control the waterway. But CNN's Phil Mattingly reports Trump's obsession with Panama goes back decades.
This is the Panama Canal, a 51-mile corridor linking the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. Its creation helped the United States become a global superpower.
Most people don't get access to this, but what you're standing on top of right now, it's a modern marvel. It is an engineering miracle. Only twice in the history of the Panama Canal has transit actually stopped. It's that invaluable to world trade, to the world economy, to geopolitics in general. It also underscores why any president, President-elect Trump being one of them, cares so deeply about its operations. Now, Trump's interest in the Panama Canal, it makes a lot of sense. It's 4% of global shipping. That's what comes through here on an annual basis. 40% of U.S. containers come through this waterway. But what people here unequivocally do not understand is why, after 25 years of smooth operations under Panama's control, all of a sudden Trump is threatening to take it back and refusing to rule out using military force to do so.
The Panama Canal is a disgrace.
He's railed against how the canal is being run and China's growing influence around the waterway.
They charge more for our ships than they charge for ships of other countries. They charge more for our Navy than they charge for navies of other countries. They laugh at us because they think we're stupid. But we're not stupid anymore. China's at both ends of the Panama Canal. China's running the Panama Canal.
I asked the man who was in charge of the canal for 7 years, Jorge Luis Quijano, about those claims.
Does the canal charge U.S. ships more than others?
No.
Does the canal charge the U.S. Navy more than others?
No.
Are there Chinese troops operating in the canal?
No.
Does Beijing or the Chinese Communist Party operate the canal?
Definitely no. Trump's current Panama fixation has left officials here perplexed and frustrated, but also cognizant of the former real estate magnate's roots in the country, long before his turn to politics.
Well, my interest in Panama really began when we had the Miss Universe contest in Panama. I own the Miss Universe.
Are you guys still
One
there?
of the most successful contests we've ever had.
Not all of his business dealings in Panama have been a success.
There's a complicating factor for Panamanian officials trying to figure out what the president-elect actually wants here. And that starts right here, because this building is the tallest building in Central America, and it is a building that used to be known as the Trump International Tower and Hotel, also home of the Trump Ocean Club. Now, it is neither.
The gleaming 70-floor resort marked Trump's first international hotel venture, a massive project, mired by mountains of litigation and confrontation that led to the removal of Trump's name from the property, halfway through his first term in the White House. As for Trump's attack on the terrible deal that set in motion the U.S. handover of the canal and its surrounding zone to Panama, that's rooted in an even longer-standing preoccupation.
And Jimmy Carter gave the Panama Canal away for nothing, zero. In other words, they said, we want the canal. He said, oh, okay, even though we spent the equivalent of many billions of dollars to build it.
Now, Trump is calling for Panama to reduce the tolls and rates U.S. ships pay to transit the canal, or else.
That was one of our dredges working on it.
I put that to Ilia Espina de Marota, Deputy Administrator of the canal.
You know, one of the things that you hear from people in the United States is just all Trump wants is just cut the rates a little bit for U.S. ships, or make some adjustments there just for U.S. ships. Is that a plausible option?
It's not a possible option.
Why not?
Because of the treaties.
The same treaties Trump rails against mandate equal treatment of all vessels. No U.S. carve-outs. Trump has also ignored that the canal today is far bigger than the one handed over by the United States.
There was an expansion.
Yes.
The U.S. government played what role in the expanded version?
Okay, as far as financially, none.
More than half of the revenue that comes in from the Panama Canal doesn't come in through the one that the United States was integral in building. It comes in through the expansion.
That's right. This is the Atlantic side.
Marota led the massive $5.2 billion project, which dramatically expanded the size of cargo ships that can traverse the canal.
So when President-elect Trump says he wants to take the canal back, do you guys get to keep the one you did?
No, we get to keep everything.
Phil Maddie at the Panama Canal, CNN.
And still ahead with the bitter cold in Washington, D.C., forcing inauguration ceremonies indoors. Organizers now scrambling to make last-minute adjustments. How security measures are changing. You're in the CNN newsroom.
What excites me the most is being able to do what I love and being able to inspire others.
Pathways, beacons, Swaziland, people from Tanzania. If you want to have build a brand, I think this is the place to be.
From that historic run of the Philippine national team, particularly at the ASEAN Mitsubishi Electric Cup. Describe the feeling, Sandro, of just being part of that, that whole experience of playing in the ASEAN Mitsubishi Electric Cup, and of course, playing in front of the home crowd and playing in front of a hostile crowd in Thailand.
Yeah, the overall experience, the whole month was a roller coaster of emotions. This tournament only happens every 2 years, and it's the biggest tournament in Southeast Asia. So we take this tournament very seriously, and yeah, the whole month was just very fun. We had a lot of ups, a lot of downs, but ended the tournament strong. We were able to qualify for the semifinals, and yeah, it was really exciting to be able to play the semifinals at home, and to be so close to be able to play our first ever final as well.
En route to that historic win, our first over the War Elephants in 52 years. When you look back at that, and of course where you came from, this team, did you believe that this young Philippine side stood a chance against a veteran, the best in Southeast Asia?
I think throughout the tournament, we perhaps didn't get the results that we wanted to, especially in the group stage. The first 3 games, we didn't win any of the first 3 games, but we always believed in ourselves because we were playing well, despite the results. The end results were not so good, but what we were doing to try and achieve those results in all of those games.
Maglaba ay di biro. Laundry time. Ay, ito pala ang hinahanap ko. Ito na, nakita ko na. Stand. Oh, laundry time. Broken down to fire. Here I in a merry-go-round. Haunts me. Laundry, laundry. Laundry time. Laundry time. Hello. Hello guys. Laundry time. Check pa muna. Ah.
worked for both in the country, and when I was young and I was a striker and trying to watch him, he scored a lot of goals and was really good technically, he was goal key. Then as I grew older, of course, I saw I got the privilege to watch and to always be playing with
I can't go on. I'm gonna end this live because earring gigapos.
very fortunate to learn from a lot of other great players.
Legendary names for the Philippine football. One of these days, their name will be obviously going to be alongside them. Outside of football, Sandro, do you have any other interests? Do you play any other sport?
Yeah, I love sports in general, ever since I was a kid. But nowadays, I'd say I do a lot of coaching, especially when I'm in the Philippines. Not so much here because it's really cold and we don't have much time. But when I'm in the Philippines, I like to try and golf every day whenever I can. And all the other tennis I also like to play. But yeah, I like to watch a lot of other sports as well.
And, you are in Germany and you are playing for your club. Law, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. And you've been there for about what, a year and a half? Is that right?
When I new team 6 months.
6 months. What is how much of help has your stint been with this club and of course with your previous stint overseas in your other teams that you joined?
Yeah, ever since I came to Canada, I was a big fan. I came from Spain many years.
Maglaba ay ibig, maghapong na kayo ko. Sorry ka mo Indonesian, yeah? Why you speak, why you understand Indonesian? Hello. Oh my God. Malibang, ta? Maglaba ay di biro, maghapong nakayoko. Hello! Ibid. Ay.